Some of you have probably heard the term metamodernism at least once, and almost everyone is surely familiar with postmodernism, how everyone is fed up with it and how it supposedly needs to be left behind. As I see it, postmodernism has already been in many ways surpassed by metamodernism. Of course, we can't speak of a complete replacement formally. Neither pre-modernism, modernism, nor postmodernism ever truly ended. They simply stopped being the dominant cultural force. But I stand by my claim and intend to back it up drawing on Chudjak, this guy. But first, let's agree on a working definition of metamodernism. Metamodernism, as defined by theorists Timotheus Vermeulen and Robin van den Akker, functions primarily as this structure of feeling that became the dominant cultural logic in Western capitalist societies in the 2000s. This concept, borrowed from Raymond Williams, refers to an overarching, deeply ingrained perception or emotion that individuals consciously experience, but find incredibly difficult to precisely define. Its essence is best understood through its expression in art and culture, representing a collective experience of a specific time and place. The structure of feeling is elusive and pervasive, often permeating various cultural forms without explicit articulation, making it dominant. This is why internet memes, which capture obscure feelings and diffuse moods before they are formally articulated, are ideal for studying this cultural phenomenon. Their informal and rapidly evolving nature allows them to act as sensitive barometers for these elusive cultural shifts. The prefix meta is central to understanding this new cultural logic, encompassing three interconnected meanings: alongside or amongst. The metamodern structure of feeling exists alongside and amongst older, residual, and newer, emergent structures of feeling. Unlike postmodernism, which often isolated the present from a bracketed past, metamodernism actively engages with both past and future. This interplay manifests as the creative use of waste from past styles and conventions. Unlike postmodern recycling through parody or pastiche, metamodern artists reuse historical elements from history's junkyard, not to mock, but to imbue them with new meaning and elevate their value. This implies a conscious effort to relegitimize cultural waste products like sincerity and optimism in a new self-aware context. This mechanism is crucial for understanding how memes can emerge from cynical sources and elevate previously devalued forms of expression. Between. This meaning describes metamodernism as an in-between structure characterized by continuous oscillation between two extremes. It represents a dialectical movement linked to contradictory positions, often described as either both or neither. After. Historically, metamodernism is tied to the period after postmodernism, evolving from and displacing it as the dominant cultural logic in Western capitalist societies around the early 2000s. The dominant structure of feeling in metamodernism is characterized by continuous oscillation rather than synthesis or reconciliation of opposing forces. This concept is illuminated by the Platonic notion of metaxis, which describes the sensation of being between two extremes. Like ancient Greek demigods who are both divine and human, metaxis represents a continuous dynamic movement between poles such as irony and enthusiasm, sarcasm and sincerity, deconstruction and construction. This is not a fixed point or a harmonious blend, but a pendulum swinging between different extremes. While described as dialectical, this movement does not resolve into a higher synthesis. Metamodernism actively inhabits the tension between these poles, neither reducing them nor striving for ultimate resolution. This continuous unresolved movement defines its uniqueness and makes it highly applicable to the often contradictory nature of internet memes. It allows for simultaneous engagement with opposing effects without intellectual or emotional paralysis. This oscillation allows for what is termed informed naivety. This is a conscious decision to embrace a feeling such as hope or optimism despite a deep awareness of its potential unreality. The persistence of negative conditions or inherent irony. It's an as-if modality, acting as if things could be better even when you know they might not be. It is not blind faith, but a strategic conscious choice to reintroduce meaning and value into a world that postmodernism largely deconstructed. When genuine belief in grand narratives is no longer sustainable, the as-if stance allows for an active, informed enactment of a certain effect, enabling individuals and cultures to move forward and engage with positive emotions without succumbing to naive delusion or paralyzing cynicism. It is a pragmatic, effective strategy for navigating complex global realities. Chudjak, a variant of the Wojak meme, emerged around late August 2020 on BunkerChan. It was initially conceived as an unflattering caricature of stereotypical 4chan poll users, incels, and far-right mass shooters, specifically modeled after Patrick Crusius, the perpetrator of the 2019 El Paso shooting. This dark origin imbues Chudjak with connotations of resentment, cynicism, and nihilism, associating it with extremist online subcultures. The deliberate ugliness and association with problematic ideologies present a paradox. Why would such a figure become so widespread and adaptable? This suggests that meme culture within a metamodern context can appropriate and reframe problematic symbols. Chudjak's inherent negativity serves as a cynical pole from which its subsequent metamodern oscillation towards hope gains its informed nature. Its problematic origins provide the shadow against which the light of hopecore can be cast, making the oscillation more profound than a mere shift. Early cynical variations of Chudjak include: "The West has fallen, billions must die." This catchphrase parodies unsuccessful yet resentful far-right political supporters expressing deep discontent with globalization and overpopulation trends. It embodies Chudjak's initial nihilistic and fatalistic pole of sentiment, reflecting perceived societal decay and an apocalyptic outlook. "Nothing ever happens." Often featuring Chudjak, this meme expresses dissatisfaction with the perceived lack of significant change, functioning as a pessimistic affirmation that the current status quo cannot change except in superficial ways. However, the act of complaining implies a desire for something to happen, a yearning for change. This is not a passive nihilism, but rather a frustrated one. Chuda is a distinct Chudjak variation that merges the character with an image of Gautama Buddha, often depicted in an orange robe. This meme typically references the "nothing ever happens" meme, with Chuda emphatically stating it will not happen in response to a questioning what if. The fusion of the cynical Chudjak with the serene, enlightened figure of Buddha is highly symbolic. It elevates the "nothing ever happens" sentiment from mere frustration to a level of enlightened or transcendent resignation. The definitive "it will not happen" becomes a pronouncement of ultimate unshakable fatalism, presented as a form of profound, almost spiritual wisdom. This variation marks a potential apotheosis of the cynical pole within the Chudjak ecosystem, suggesting that this particular form of cynicism is deeply entrenched and self-sufficient. This makes the subsequent shift to hopecore even more striking, as it must confront and oscillate against this deeply ingrained and seemingly enlightened fatalism. And some other ones. Thus, Chudjak transcends its meme status, emerging as a profound emblem of the metamodern condition. Its unlikely journey from nihilistic caricature to a beacon of informed naivety reveals a fundamental shift in how online communities engage with pervasive global challenges. This isn't merely the fleeting whims of internet culture, it's a testament to the dynamic interplay of irony and hope, despair and enthusiasm actively forged by digital participants. Through the creative use of waste and the embrace of conscious contradiction, memes like Chudjak demonstrate the unique adaptive capacity of a cultural logic that refuses to simplify complex realities. They serve as essential, unvarnished barometers reflecting a generation's pragmatic quest for meaning amidst chaos. Ultimately, Chudjak's trajectory makes palpable the sophisticated, oscillating nature of metamodernism and affirms the internet as a crucible where resilient new cultural logics are not just observed, but actively constructed, offering a compelling lens through which to understand our perpetually in-between era.